All right, now for global entertainment and culture news, Judita Da Silva joins me now live from London. Hello, Judita. Good to see you. Great, 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 great. So let's start with on social media. People continue to react to the multiple lavish, expensive weddings of Temi'S to Mr. Eazi. And while the tone in Nigeria is one way, it is a bit of a mixed bag on your side of the pond, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because it's kind of like the story that won't go away over the past week. And I've kind of just been watching it with like the benefit of an objectivity from being here in the UK and also with colleagues in America. And it's kind of a mix of, like you said, those that are clearly through their own voluntary ignorance don't really know about Nigeria. So you get comments like, oh, I didn't know Africans were wealthy that way. I guess Eddie Murphy's coming to America was real. They really do have money. So it's that kind of ignorance. And there was also this interesting conversation I saw happen, which kind of gained traction with some Americans, where they said that they had multiple weddings in so many countries, but these African millionaires didn't have a single wedding in Africa. What does that say? And that is also part of not understanding the context, because these are two young people. They're in love. They probably want to get married in the moon and the stars and a meadow and in the snow. They get married anyway. It doesn't matter. But then what they're probably going to now begin to realize is something that happened twice this year when you look at the Bezos wedding and you look at the Ambani wedding in India, where people felt that when there is a lot of an ostentatious show of wealth, there will come critics. When their parents are just seeing it as a celebration of the love of their children, to the consumers and the social media generation, they're seeing people that are slightly tone deaf, that if you're going to basically flaunt it, do it in a way that's kind of reticent of the environment in which you're flaunting it. They're young, they shouldn't have that obligation, but now they'll begin to understand that you are a brand and social media projects you across the world with consequences.
Absolutely, absolutely. Actually, I mean, to be fair, this couple really wanted it, you know, to keep it simple. But you can't have a simple wedding if you're not $10 and what have you. So, look, these are young people and in the public eye. So, of course, with this mixture of public opinion, would you say they have to get used to, you know, public opinion, people, you know, being in their business?
I think it's an interesting thing. It's a choice they are going to have to make. Most couples wouldn't have to, but they will have to make that. You're going to need to carefully curate how much of yourself, how often of yourself, what percentage of yourself you give to the world. And because they are Gen Z, they're on social media. Once you do that, you sacrifice yourself on the altar of public opinion, and everyone with a mobile phone has an opinion. So going forward, as they blend their two brands, because they're both successful young people, they'll have to be very careful about how much they let the world in order to make people feel like you understand the totality of this beautiful love story.
Yes, indeed. Okay, a beautiful, inspiring love story. Now let's move to South Africa, where, you know, the country has recently passed a new law around married couples. What exactly is it about? And it is quite surprising, isn't it?
It's so surprising. So two couples took this to the highest court in South Africa, the Constitutional Court, because there was a law that hacks back to apartheid era that says that a man cannot take the last name of a woman. And these two couples, not only do they want to do that, they kind of, you know what happened? That used to happen a lot in olden times in the UK, where you have two very important families. The couple tends to double barrel their name, and so they hyphenate it and keep both names because both families are significant. And so they said this was against the law. So finally they did it, the case went in their favor. And so now the Births and Deaths Registration Act has to be rewritten or amended so that now these couples can use both names. And to think that that's happening in the modern era, it's weird that that didn't exist in South Africa. But again, they said it goes against the idea of the equal rights under the new constitution post 1994. And also it seems like gender-based discrimination, because if you think about it, an example that popped into my head is President Obama. He has two daughters. Right. If they don't keep their name, his name dies out. The first Black president of America, his name dies out if his two daughters don't double barrel their names. So stuff like this, again, is very important and significant.
Yes, indeed. Of course, it's a continuing conversation, but I'm not sure I would want my husband to take my maiden name. All right, so...
Why not? It's fabulous.
No. No, genealogy is traced through the, father's lineage. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Now, let's turn to music now. And to Cotonou, neighbors to Nigeria, is set to play host to SIMA 2025, which is, of course, the Francophone Africa Music Industries Fair. After it had a successful inaugural year in Cote d'Ivoire, tell us more about that.
Yeah, this is really great. So they had over 5,000 participants because it kind of brings together artists, inventors, investors, producers, industry folk together to kind of drive investment in the talent of Francophone Africa. And they're doing it in Cotonou now. They expect even 7,000 people to be participating. And this is kind of a sleeping giant, which is why I wanted to do the story, because on our side of the pond, look at an artist like Aya Nakamura. She's Francophone based in France. She is the most streamed French-speaking artist in the entire world on Spotify, on social media, period. She represents the potential of French-speaking Africa, but she's become so big because she has the infrastructure of the French music industry. And there are so many big French artists of African heritage making it big in France. Why isn't Africa capitalizing on that? Because there is definitely a French-speaking Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido that just don't have the infrastructure behind them.
Judita, thank you so much. Hey, Judita, do you like jollof rice?
I live for jollof rice.
The next story, you will love it. You'll love the next story. Judita, thank you very much for joining us.